Hi,
You were explaining the breakdown because I would
I
like to know it
was.
as well.
I was explaining the breakdown.
How
How
are
are you
you?
doing?
Really good. How about you?
I'm great. I'm
Oh, I'm frozen.
excited. And oh, no, I see you. I hear you.
No, okay, we're good. We're good.
Oh. So tell
I
us,
know. I'm excited too. I'm also like, am I getting like the way I am during auditions? I'm like, God, I get so crazy. And now we're here making pita and tiganitas, so I'm so excited.
cool. So let me explain our relationship to the audience. So Anastasia and I
Okay.
met when she auditioned for me and Giulio Gambudo, the director of Team Marco, and we hired her to play Anna in Team Marco. So our movie is currently in the world and out in festivals, winning awards, and
Incredible.
we are currently in the sales cycle, and we have a few fish on the hooks right now. So we're working on some deals, and hopefully we're going to get that movie out to the public pretty soon.
So
Uh,
excited.
but
Can't wait.
but in the meanwhile, Anastasia and I have a secondary relationship where I have been photographing her food because she has started a website called Fancy Peasant, all about her experiences in learning how to cook Greek food from her dad. She does this with her sister. And I've been doing some photography for them and learning about their food. And I've been wanting to bring her to this audience so that we could show you the kind of food that she's showing me. So I think that's sort of it in a nutshell. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, I Fancy Peasant something that I kind of had on my mind for about a decade, and I was knee deep in the grinds of when I, graduated from theater school. I had moved out to Los Angeles, and in the beginning, there's a real daily grind there. So it was also a time where like you just couldn't have a hustle if you were like, if you will, you were acting, and that was your focus, and you couldn't do anything else. And now that has changed, which is so lovely. It seems like everyone is pursuing their other passion as well, whether it's like a skin line or a clothing line. So I always kind of wanted to come up with a Greek, where we live, where we're from. It's a very small mountain village in northern Greece, and the cuisine is pretty stellar, pretty fantastic, and pretty specific. So I always kind of wanted to get a cookbook out into the world, or my recipes documented down for my family in a really easy way, because I'm a bit of a visual learner, and I wanted to make something that felt, like I could actually do it. You read a lot of cookbooks and they're just so overwhelming with either lots of text or so I started kind of breaking things down the way I would do it. And my father passed away in July, and I thought that we had spoken a lot about Fancy Peasant, and really a way that I was coping with the loss was through the food. So it felt like the perfect time to throw myself into an endeavor. I was really drowning, and this really brought me back to life. And it was it was a monumental task to get everything down on paper. But I thought to myself, I really want this for my children and my children's children. And then I started connecting with people through that had lost their parent or a brother, and they were talking about how the kitchen was just like such a hard place for them to return to, or an easy place to go to. Or for me, in my case, I didn't want to be around, do anything. I wanted to cry and make food and grieve. And so it was really divine the way it all happened. And Fancy Peasant has really started to take off, and we're just making this delicious peasant food, if you want to call it, with luxury touches. And it's, it's a cuisine that's got loads of Greek olive oil, loads of vegetable, small amounts of cheese, lots of carbohydrate and bean and wheat and grains, and a little bit of fish, a little bit of meat. But there's a huge, strong concentration in this type of diet where my dad was from, because they just couldn't afford meat. So they were living off olive oil, legumes, beans, and lots of veg. And it's kind of how my family eats. And so it's
Seems like
been
that's
really, really
seems like that's
what?
how we're all kind of coping right now too in the current situation with we're digging through the pantry and trying to make something beautiful and delicious from the pantry items that we have. And it
Yeah.
seems like you do that very well.
Really, these items for all of us that, I mean, we're so lucky, but they're pretty accessible and they're pretty affordable because you're talking about rice and beans and cabbage and flour to make filo, which is something we'll be working with today. And so, yeah, it is. We're lucky that we can make such beautiful things out of this food that doesn't necessarily cost so much. But it's been great. It's been a really nice time to, my brother doesn't know how to cook, for example, and we've been on the phone a lot. I've been teaching him how to cook, and this is a beautiful skill we should all know, right? So I think this time has been very kind of lovely for a lot of people, whether you like learned how to plant a garden or my son learned like a lot about soccer. I've been spending people have just been spending a lot of time in their kitchen, connecting with family members or just messing around in the kitchen. Am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Not as much as you normally do.
You what?
I said not as much as you normally do, but yeah, sure.
Okay, because I was about to say, like, people have been fucking around in the kitchen a lot, and I mean, that's what I would normally say, but I didn't know if I was allowed to say that.
I don't think we have anyone under 18 on here today, so I think we're okay. So why don't you give us a preview of what you're going to make for us?
Well, I mean, in true Gemini fashion, when I was so excited to work with you guys, I can't just make one thing. Like, it's too stressful. I have to make my two favorite things. Like, and everyone in my family, like at the dinner table last night, was like, just make one thing. And I was like, no, you just don't understand me. Any of you, none of you understand. So I've been getting a lot. I make a skinny Spanikopita. It's amazing because like old timers, like used to make this drenched in butter, and we don't eat like that. We made one that had no egg in it and no butter in it, and we just worked with olive oil, so it's awesome. And we're making our own homemade filo dough, which is something that a lot of people struggle with.
I'm freaked out.
They think it's really hard to make.
I'm freaked out by it because I mean I work with phyllo in my studio a lot, and it's pretty hard to work with, and to make your own. I'm impressed. I want to see it done, and I can't wait.
Thanks. Hope I don't fuck it up for you.
No pressure. No pressure at all.
Along with the Spanikopita, we're making Tiganites stuffed with, like, I call them rainbow Tiganites because they're stuffed with just like this stunning purple cabbage. And those you can bake, but we're gonna be baking the Spanikopita while we're messing with the Tiganita. I'm gonna do those on top of the stove. Keep in mind, there's a gluten-free version for all of this, guys. So we're working a lot on that. And I get so many comments lately about like your family eats so many beans and carbs, but how do you guys stay fit? I hate that word, fit. But I think because, it's all about balance, right? Like in the Greek religion, there's over 200 days of fasting a year. So the point is the body gets breaks. So when you're eating gluten, you don't really feel bad about it because you've been like supplementing with so many other things. You have to turn the music off. You can't concentrate with it on. Okay, so yeah, I'm making homemade filo dough, and I'm making a homemade tiganita dough, and we're gonna make two different fillings. So
cool.
How do you want to kind of start? Or should I tell you how?
Go ahead, and I'm gonna be here to narrate because I can actually see what everybody's saying, and I can, if there's any questions, I can relay them to you as long as you can hear me. As long as you can hear me.
I can hear you really well. I mean, I wish you were a little louder, but that's just because I like everything really, really loud.
Okay. And you want to put your headphones in?
So I'm going to go shut that off.
Okay. Do you want to put your headphones in?
Shut that off, and I'm going to let you stare at my pretty flowers while I go shut off the music.
Okay. Well, anyway, she is going to be back in a moment. And while we are waiting, we could look at the lovely flowers. But I'm also going to be able to scroll through and say hello to everybody who's jumped in here and is sticking around to watch us make some homemade filo and a Spanikopita. and she will be back in a moment to do all that. Hello, everyone. Lots of familiar faces and names here on this list of people who have joined us today. Thank you so much. Anybody who's new to my feed and have come here because you know Anastasia, welcome. My name is Andrew, and this is kind of what I do. Lots of food stuff. So here she is. She's back. Oh well, you know, I was just riffing while you were. You got some love here from Greece.
I always cook with like really loud music on. It's like my therapy. So I thought I'd be like, oh, little sound in the background. I'm fine with that, but it was really taking me out.
Well, that's, you know, you need to hear me right now. I need to be heard.
Mm-hmm. You do.
What's the town in northern Greece? Because I got that question.
The town.
What town?
It's a village. It's inland, and it's called Vavoudi, Greece, and it's close to Yanina. That's like the big part of mainland that it's closest to. It is up in the mountains. Like it's an hour up. Like your ears pop on the way up, and it is far away from any type of civilization. And you know, the wonderful thing about these types of places is, first of all, the food. Like, second of all, they have to walk to do anything. So every 20 minutes, you're really like getting up and moving around. You want to go to the doctor, you have to walk a lot. You want to go, you know, to get your fish or work with a monger, you have to kind of go down this huge hill and hike all the way back up. So they were constantly kind of like moving and going. That had a lot to do with like longevity and how everyone stayed in really great condition. It was all about keeping it moving. Like, you know, now here we designate like an hour a day as opposed to working our bodies like that all day. And I think that's what I love. Like when I go there, I'm always like, this lifestyle.
So you have some friends here who are jumping in and saying hello from Western Macedonia.
Wow.
So you have some people from Greece jumping in here and saying hi, and
yeah,
so.
Yeah,
so why don't you? So what do our ingredients look like? What are you starting with?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the homemade filo dough because we have to let that rest for like 20.
Okay.
Is that helpful, or like should I just tell you and keep it up here?
Oh no, it's good to see what you're doing because yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so here I have 2.5 cups of flour.
Okay.
Better?
No, it's right there. It looks great. I can see it. Perfect.
And then I have a 1/2 teaspoon of real salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar.
Okay.
Boop, boopity boop. And then I have a cup of water. All these ingredients will be up where someone can like see it if they want it. So don't fret.
Okay.
We have a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil or olive oil, whatever you prefer. I prefer olive oil. And then a tablespoon of vinegar.
Great.
So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm also making a half recipe for you, Andrew. This isn't a full recipe. So if you wanted to make like a sheet pan of filo, that would be double this ingredients like I usually do. But I'm doing the Spanikopita, the skinny Spanikopita triangles.
Okay.
And these are like appetizer style.
Great. Now you do that with a metal spoon, not a rubber spatula?
Nope. I usually do it with a rubber spatula. Stop judging me. I totally just like had that there and did it prep.
Listen, I like it. It's okay. Now you get your hands in there. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys might want to wear gloves. I'm not into that. I've washed my hands well. I don't have my wedding ring on. But yeah, I just make sure my hands are kind of clean because what you're going to have to do next to get all the, so you just kind of, you never want to do this type of thing. You want to take the palm of your hand and just get in there to knead it.
So you do that in the bowl and not on the countertop?
No, I don't do it on the countertop because the marble is cold. And we went ahead and added warm water in here.
Got it.
So I'm going to go and get a little bit of olive oil to put on my hand. I just do that. Now there, got olive oil on them. And I'll keep rubbing that in there until all the dry ingredients are kind of have disappeared.
Okay.
And then I'm going to let this guy just rest for a half hour or 20 minutes in a warm place. I usually put it inside an oven that has like already been used, or you can, you know, put it in the sun if it's a nice summer day.
Got it.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm just resting it. Not
Great.
that deep. So
You're not covering it.
I am. So I'm gonna.
Oh, you are covering.
What are you into, food or something? I'm gonna cover it, and then I'm gonna set it aside in a warm place, which is on top of my stove.
Okay.
Okay. So, what I did go ahead and do, because I didn't have time to actually make the tiganita dough as well, almost the same recipe. Again, you can have it. I have these ready over here. Just getting them over here. So that's the dough for the Spanikopita, okay? That's rising. This is the dough for the tiganitas. We're making two separate things. Tiganitas, Spanikopita. What I went ahead and did with the dough for this is I let it rest, and I separated it into 8 balls, and I rolled it out into these rounds. One dough, yeah. Do we have one dough ball? No, we don't have another dough ball. So I have these 8 rounds of dough.
Okay.
Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stuff it with, we have to saute this, cabbage that I sliced up, just a whole head of cabbage, red onion,
right,
and feta. So
nice.
I'm going to go ahead and do that with you.
You're going to just saute that in olive oil.
I'm going to just saute that in olive oil. I mean, do you want to see that, or should I?
We want to see everything. We want to see it all.
Wow, okay. So let's go.
Yeah, come on. Bring us over there. Bring us over to the stove.
Okay. Come over to the stove. Sorry if I'm making you nauseous.
No, don't worry. Oh, okay. Same ingredients for the dough for the tiganites.
No, it's a little bit of a different recipe, but it's not too different. So can you hear me from here?
Yes, I can hear you.
There is one ingredient that is different. There's no sugar in the pita dough. So I'm turning my burner on to like medium high, Andrew.
I see it. Yep.
And all I'm going to do is add my
onion first.
Yep. My red onion first.
How much olive oil is in there?
So obviously I eyeball everything. It's enough to cover the bottom of the pan really, really well.
So it's about 2 tablespoons, I would say.
Yeah, about 2 tablespoons. It's kind of, kind of drudged. Again, I have all these measurements written down for you guys. But
well, I like the fact that we're cooking like instinctively, right? Because, you know, to learn that it takes about 2 tablespoons of oil to cover the bottom of the pan is a good thing to know.
Absolutely. I actually didn't even know that. So when you said it, I was like, that's so interesting that he knows that. Do you want me to keep this on here, Andrew?
Sure. We can just look at the side angle while you're talking and sauteing. That sounds good.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, this is super, super pretty. That's my favorite thing about working with the cabbage, especially the purple. Like I made a cornmeal cabbage stuffed pita last week, and it was so stunning to look at. We didn't even want to eat it. But the cabbage is, you know, it's called a lachaniko in Greek, and it's filled with so many vitamins. And obviously, it's super cheap and just like easy to work with. So
do you always use purple? Do you always use purple cabbage?
No, if I'm doing like grape cabbage leaves, I'll use white because they're like a little softer.
Okay.
For green cabbage, sorry, not white, green cabbage. But since I just experimented with this pita and these tiganitas, I really enjoyed making the purple.
Okay, cool.
So here's our purple cabbage. Cabbage so I've just gone ahead, guys, and sliced that super thin. I cut the cabbage in half, and I just cut it into these shreds.
With a knife, not with a mandolin.
No, it looks like it's been done with a mandolin, but no, it's just my sick knife skills.
Awesome. Love it.
You have to use, it has to be cut thin. That's important for this to come out the right way.
Cool. So you cooked the onion until it was just basically translucent, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. And then what's your goal with how much are you going to let this cook down now?
I'm going to let this cook down quite a bit until it's right before it starts to get like super soft.
Okay. And you're going to add a little salt?
a lot of salt. I'm
Mm.
not really into, it's actually not a lot of salt because it's a lot of cabbage, guys, and has a lot of water, obviously. So I don't have a sweet tooth. I have a salty tooth and some white pepper.
Okay.
I like to work with white pepper a lot for these recipes where I really enjoy the colors because you don't see the white pepper, and I also like
Nice.
the taste. So, yeah, don't be afraid of the salt because that's the thing. If you're working with all these vegetables, really, in order for the flavor to come out, I really feel like when it's not on, it's because I haven't been kind of generous enough with the salt.
Well, also from a cooking perspective, the salt is going to let the vegetable release water. So that's going to help with the cooking process and it'll keep it from burning. So that's another good reason to salt your food well enough when you're cooking.
Right, right. Andrew's like the mad scientist on the cooking show.
So
He
you have some
yeah.
people here who love your sick knife skills.
Okay. Okay.
Sick.
Sick.
It's
I mean,
terrific.
this is like a lot of multitasking. Okay, so we're gonna keep letting that saute.
Yeah, so that's only been in for about 2 minutes and it's already starting to break down. So that's pretty good.
It is, and I'm kind of working on like high heat right now because usually it's like medium high heat, but because I'm talking to you, I put it up a little bit more, and I kind of want to get
Sure.
it done. But you don't want to let the cabbage go too much before you want to keep it moving with the cabbage because it will stick to the bottom of the pan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting there. You can see it's starting to like really break down and get soft.
Is that a non-stick pan you're using or not?
Yeah, that's a non-stick green pan I'm using. I have
Mm-hmm.
some really cool new pans coming in, which I'm excited about. But yeah, these pans are non-stick and they're green pan.
Cool.
Gonna just go ahead and add a little bit of more of olive oil.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
That sounds good to me. I could smell that from here.
These are so good. Like it's crazy. And I do have a gluten-free version. We made one the other day because I wanted to actually make the gluten-free ones for you because I know you don't eat a lot of gluten, right? Or am I making that
No,
up?
I don't. I don't eat a wheat. I don't eat a lot of wheat.
Right.
There's even when I work with dough, I usually do a mix of
Mhm.
GF flour and I add a little bit of wheat flour, usually non-GMO,
Yep.
organic,
Hmm.
and that seems to be agreeable to my system. But
Right.
so I try to be careful about it. I made some pizza last night, and I did a regular version and a gluten-free version, not a gluten-free, a glutenless, less gluten version.
I'm gonna take this
Uh,
off, guys.
oh, that's steamy and delicious looking. That's amazing. Look at that. That looks great. So you get a sense of how much you let it break down there.
Exactly.
So it's about a 5-minute cook.
So was that what it was?
Yeah, I'm looking at the
Don't
clock.
pretend like you weren't timing it.
No, I'm timing everything. Remember, Instagram Live is an hour.
Crazy. Okay. All right. So
Would almond flour work with this? Can you make one of these with almond flour?
gluten-free flour works. I was just about to tell you, I made one with gluten-free flour last night to try to test it for you. But the problem is that it wouldn't have worked in our tutorial because you have to work with it fast.
Yeah.
So it's the type of thing where like I could have done it for you. I also do this with a gluten-free cornmeal and gluten-free flour.
Oh, okay.
That too. But
So I don't think almond flour would work. I think almond flour is too grainy, but I do think that these other flours, these alternate flours may work.
yeah, we have a lot of people that like love Fancy Peasant that have like celiac, and they've been asking me for all these different versions. So we're excited to experiment with them. I'm gonna go ahead and add. This is I want to say like 8 ounce. I cut out 8 ounces for the Spanikopita, and I took a little bit off that. But I'm going to put in some more cheese.
So I want to let you know you have somebody watching right now who has 3.7 million YouTube followers. A YouTube chef named Chef John, who just basically Chef John just chimed in and said almond flour is a hard no.
Okay.
So we're going to take his word for it on that one.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Chef John. I'm coming back.
So tell me more. You put the feta, that was the feta you put in there.
This is the feta.
We can see, I think that's pretty good right there. Pull the bowl. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, that's the feta. This doesn't have any egg in it. So, you know,
Whoop, you're buffering. Oh no, we froze. Can you guys see me? Somebody chime in. Can you still see me? Because I know she froze. Oh, you froze for a second there. You're back.
I'm back.
Yes. With your frappe.
With my frappe.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to salt and pepper this well, because, you know, now it's just going in. We have feta, we have cabbage and the onion and salt and pepper. And I'm going to show you how to make a tiganita. So what are we doing here? I'm taking flour and I'm going to dust my cooking service, which in this case is marble. And I'm just going to put the dough that I have. And how did I make these perfect circles? I used this small plate that I have after I rolled it out, and I just cut into it and made my tiganita. So over here,
so you cut it. So you cut around the plate with a knife or with like a pizza cutter or something?
With a knife.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny right now. If you look at the Instagram, it looks like my head on your body. It's really funny.
I saw that.
That's great.
Okay, so listen, that's really funny. Really funny. Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of like squished up a little bit and becomes small, and I want to make it big again. Not really big, so I'm just going to roll it out once into something that turned out a little too big. So now I'm going to take a little piece, not a little piece, a spoonful of my mixture. I'm going to put it look at the pretty colors of that. Like, don't you want to bite into something that looks like that every day of your life?
That looks delicious. And the fact that it's basically only 4 ingredients, including salt, and 4 ingredients with salt and pepper, it's amazing.
It's incredible. They make me happy just to look at them. Like, it's so gorgeous. Like, it's like I don't know. I feel very strongly.
I'm being asked if I could switch positions with the food on top, but I really don't think I can do that, unfortunately. I think I'm stuck up here. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. No, that's only going to turn the camera around, so that doesn't help. I don't think I can do it. There you are.
How are you doing? You can't see the tiganita now. Okay.
No, we need to see the food. Don't worry about it. Nobody should be looking at me anyway. They should just be looking at your hands.
So now I've folded it over, and I'm just going to gently press with my fingers. I try to match it up over here. You could do this guy, or you could do this guy, and you just make, when you're like, oh, that's so fancy. How do they do that? Well, that's how I talk. I'm always like, how do they do that before I learn how to do it? And then I'm like, oh, it wasn't that deep at all. And so my tiganita is ready to, it's hard doing it backwards, guys. I'm trying to do it facing you. So see, now we have this beautiful, it looks like a calzone from here.
I was just going to say that. I just think you just made a cabbage calzone.
It's a cabbage calzone, but it's Greek, so it can't be a calzone. It has to be Greek. I'm turning some more light on. Sorry, we're losing light. Okay, so now I'm going to take you over to the oven, and I'm going to saute.
Okay.
So you can see how one is made, at least.
Got it.
I have like so many tripods from putting myself on tape for everything constantly. And so I was thinking to myself, I should have both of the tripods available. Then I was like, that's way too much fucking work. But now I'm wishing that I had done it.
Chef John says nice crimping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
you did it backwards too. You did backwards crimping.
I did a backwards crimp. That's like, I don't even know. Who the hell am I? I'm like amazing myself lately. I'm living with 9 people during quarantine. You don't even want to know what's going on in this house.
I could see on Instagram that
Okay,
you have a
so
soccer match almost every day. And all right, go ahead,
yeah, my
go back to cooking.
4-year-old. Sorry. So you don't have to put, fun fact about this, if you don't want to use any more olive oil, which I don't even understand you if you don't, that's fine. But you can put this on a regular hot pan. You don't have to add any olive oil. But if you're having a tiganita, like have a tiganita and make it crunchy, because tiganita is kind of like a crunchy term in Greek. That's where it comes from.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place 2 of these into the pan. I should have waited for it to get a little bit more hot, but that'll happen.
Okay, no worries.
And now you can cook 2 at a time. So now we have 2 tiganitas in there. You see them, right?
I can see them fine. Your crimping is lovely.
Thanks.
And then what do you think? How long do you cook those on each side, or you just check them and see for color?
No, yeah, that's it. I just cook them until they're golden brown on each side.
Okay.
Again, like my husband likes his without any oil in the pan because he likes to make me. I'm like, why are you making me feel bad about the oil? Like he's like, I didn't. I just don't want mine with oil. And then I'm like, I just want to be more like you. Should I not have the oil? So yeah,
we need the oil.
They'll get golden brown. I think olive oil when you're doing something like this because it's just a hint. You know, they'll get nice and golden and crunchy. So when you bite into them, like the textures are so crazy. You've got like the crispy phyllo dough on the outside and then the yummy feta cabbage mix inside. So I just like mine to be crispier.
I agree. I'm a texture eater. I like my things crispy and crunchy. So I do think that you're definitely
Yeah.
Chef John says we want the oil. We need the oil.
That's how I feel, Chef John. We need the oil. I'm wondering if I should start the Spanikopita now, or if I should finish letting these get golden brown and show you the whole thing.
Well, we have 30 minutes, so I think how long do you think you need to work on the other one?
I just get to read the comments right now. They're so fun. Oil is a must-have. We Greeks bathe in it. It's true, Dimitra. It's true.
Is Dimitra is related to you, I'm assuming?
She may or may not be my first cousin.
Okay, she may or may not.
Check out her Instagram, an incredible. She just started an incredible endeavor as well. I wish I could tell you about everyone that's starting a new thing to help support, but I'll do that at one point as well.
Cool.
Yes. So here, we're going to cook these in batches. I'd say if I had let this heat to the exact time that it should have, they should only be here for about 4 minutes on each side.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and flip her. Where's my spatula? Where's my spatula? Not here. So I'm going to use a slotted spoon.
So Chef John says we need to have a chat with your husband about the olive oil situation.
Chef John, I can't do this with this. 1 second, my friend.
That doesn't look flat enough.
Spatula.
Come on, you don't have asbestos fingers? Just reach in there and twist it over with your hand.
Oh, all right, I'm using 2 spatulas. Look at this.
All right, I like that. That works. That looks so good.
Shit, she's pretty. So good, dude. Like these with a green salad? Are you kidding me?
That looks great.
Like, I will do anything for one of these. I'm really gonna fuck it up. No, I'm not.
There we go.
Fuck it up. Why don't you just believe yourself, Anastasia, all the time? Yeah, these are like delightful. Like, how pretty are these with a side green salad and a glass of wine, or whatever
That's
the
amazing.
cocktail of your choice is?
I want that. I'm hungry. You're making me hungry.
Love that. There's a book.
I got it.
Yeah,
there's a book. There's a book named after that. So I have to tell you, when Anastasia came to my studio for our first photo shoot, she brought, I don't know who she was, but this Greek woman who didn't speak any English and cooked up a storm for Maria, 5 or 6 hours. And it was like the whole room was alive. It felt like we had just put on the shower of olive oil. Everything was coated in olive oil. All of us, the floors, the stove.
By the way, she's the light of my life.
She's amazing.
I'm going to write a book about her one day. She came into my life right before my dad died, and she's helped me And she met him the week before he died. It was the only week she had ever met him, spent a whole week with him. And to make a long story short, she was able to kind of really understand who my father was in the short time they spent, which helped this entire cooking thing come to life, because a lot of this has to do with like where we're from and what we're doing and the message we're trying to give. But Maria's been like, you know, my fairy godmother. She's but we bathe in olive oil, and anyone.
Yeah, well, I mean, Italians aren't much different. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's a really nice job.
I can't believe we're still making a fucking Spanikopita. Like, we have so much more work to do.
Well, we have 25 minutes to do it, so let's see how we do.
Okay. Oh my God, it's a marathon. It's a marathon.
Give me an overhead. Give me an overhead shot of what you just made. Oh yeah, look at that. That's beautiful.
I would serve this. I do serve this with 5%. Just take a little bit of 5% Greek fage yogurt, fage, whatever the F you want to say, with a little bit faye. I was just corrected. With a little bit of honey and a little bit of lemon, like on the side, and it is so good. Just dip it in there, or like you know, like a spicy feta dip, just a little bit of hot pepper and yogurt, or it's a tzatziki. It's so good with any type of a sauce and a salad.
Sounds amazing. All right, back on it.
This is like nuts.
This is a cooking show. You have to work fast.
Okay. Oh, we made the dough, right? Yeah.
Yes, we made the dough. It was sitting on the stove, rising. What happened? Somebody ate it.
No, it's still rising. I'm wondering if I should do the filling first and come back for the dough.
Yes, do the filling first.
Okay. Then why did I just move the freaking camera?
It's okay. You can move it again.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
And we're back. We're back at the stove.
So everything, that's why I don't believe in diets or people that tell me like they don't use olive oil in their food. They're like, there's no olive oil in that. Do the diet without the olive oil. I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying. Like,
what is that? I don't understand that language.
We bathe in the olive oil. She's right. It's like olive oil and breast milk. Those are the two best things in the entire world. Okay, so I'm adding a generous amount of olive oil to the bottom of my pan. I have it on.
Yep.
So now we're making skinny Spanikopita, and this is the stuffing. Because my pan's already hot, I can put the green onion in. That's like 3 scallions chopped. Again, the recipe's up on fancypeasant.com if you like want to make this, because I can't handle going through all the ingredients as well, people.
Nope, you go to fancypeasant.com, you get the recipes, they're there posted. You can also watch, I guess, do you save your stories in your highlights?
I do, and I have a lot of them up, and we're getting that YouTube station up soon, so you'll be, I do. You can see most of the stuff in stories.
Okay, that sounds great.
So I'm just sauteing the scallion until it softens, or green onion. You know, use whatever's in your fridge. You want to use a small sweet onion, use that. You want to use anything that works in the onion family. Don't feel pressure, because you know, one of the great things about this whole thing has been like, if I'm out of something, I'll use something else, and I realize it's not that deep.
Right. I mean, an onion is an onion is an onion. I mean, obviously a green onion is different, but when you're cooking, you know, the basics here, I think are all, you know, the building blocks are interchangeable.
Yes. Well said, Andrew.
I try.
I have about 10 ounces of spinach here. I have a farm that's close to my house. I'm very, very lucky. I understand that. I'm a little bit of a spinach snob. I'm going to go ahead and add that 10 ounces. I've roughly chopped it, but you don't have to. Really roughly chopped it. But that's just because I have kids and I don't want them to choke on long. Especially prefer mine not chopped. So don't even do the work. Don't even chop your spinach if you don't want, you know?
Unless you have children, you don't want them to choke.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit paranoid about it. They'd probably be fine.
Well, they have teeth, right?
They have teeth, yeah.
All right, well, you know, as long as they got teeth, it's all good.
So Grayson's my eldest, and he's obsessed with soccer, like you were saying. And this morning he was coming down, and I said, "Oh my good morning, Agapi Mukalimera, Grayson." And he said, "My name's not Grayson. Call me Pele." And the whole day he's been making us call him Pele.
Nice. The fact that he actually knows who that is amazing.
What do you mean? He makes me watch the documentary with him once a week.
That's crazy.
He's out of control. So we're gonna let this soften. This is gonna be the inside of our pita. This is the reason I love Spanikopita is because, again, it has no butter and no egg in it. And I think that's kind of like a deal breaker for a lot of my vegan friends. Like, they get really excited about this one.
I can understand that. And honestly, you know, a lot of Mediterranean food is interchangeably vegan or vegetarian if you really want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the majority of the Mediterranean diet, like for real, is veggie and it's all, you know, it's veggies and beans and all that kind of good stuff.
Cool. That probably what is going to only take what, about 3 to 5 minutes to get soft enough to be ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna put a cover on it right now.
Yeah, that's gonna cook down pretty quick.
What I would be looking for is I'm putting the wrong cover on, guys, but that doesn't really matter.
That's what we all do, though. That's what we all do.
It'll still trap the heat, or I could turn to my left pousse and put.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
There you go.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, me too.
It's all interchangeable. Doesn't matter.
It's all interchangeable.
My grandmother used to put a piece of tin foil over it.
I love it. So I guess we have like a minute to take any questions while that's cooking if you guys want.
Apparently everybody thinks we're pretty funny together, so.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
We're like Laurel and Hardy?
Which one am I? I guess I'm the fat one.
What the hell? Okay, I'll take it. Anyone.
All right, well.
So where are you right now? You're not in, I know you're, we filmed Team Marco in Staten Island and you're die hard, but you are where?
Well, I normally I'm in Manhattan, but right now I'm in New Jersey. I have a place here on the shore, and
you look like you're at the beach, dude. That's the background beach.
I've been sheltering here for about 6 weeks with my wife and my niece and her boyfriend, and we basically cook and eat and work from home. That's pretty much what we do. So
kind of like the special sliver time that we have that we're never going to get back to do this kind of shit, and it's really, really, really magical and really hard in a lot of ways. And we're talking from a really lucky perspective when I say
that's
that.
true. I mean,
we're healthy, you know.
Yes, I mean, I think I've had friends that had gotten sick and have recovered and are doing better. I have friends in the restaurant industry who are, you know, struggling and nervous about that reality. And we're doing our best to sort of pull together. I'm going to have one of those people, a chef from one of the restaurants that I'm friendly with, who's going to come here and do the next one next week. So we can preview that right now. So if you want to come back next week, same time, we're going to do the famous Beatrice from Il Posto Accanto is going to come and cook with us.
So cool.
And she is really excited to join me and do this exactly what you're doing. You've been a little bit of a guinea pig today because you've been the first one, but so far it's worked out okay. So I think we're doing pretty well here.
You know what? It's so funny because this actually worked out for me exactly like an audition does. I know I keep talking about that, but you get really amped up. You know all your taking the spinach off. I don't think I've ever burnt spinach, but because I'm trying to do all this, I might have overcooked it a little bit. Like with an audition, you know, you put all this work in and then you're told to let go because that's when the magic happens.
Right.
So you put it in and then like your first instinct, like when you read a side or a script, like they tell you you should always go with that first instinct about that character. And like, this is the same thing. Like once I got on with you and started doing my thing, I became comfortable and I was like, God, it's so much like acting.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I think about, you know, you think about your audition for us that day and you came in and you had just had a baby. It was your first time back in the audition room. You know,
I have no idea what the hell I was doing auditioning that postpartum.
You were sort of emotional and it was just perfect. You impressed us both, reminded us of people we know from home. And so here we are, 2 years later, a movie in the can and a cooking show underway.
God, I hope there's more movies and more cooking shows, Andrew, together. I loved working with you guys. If there was ever a standout stat, and I mean, you guys really, I've worked on so many shows and so many films and so much fun. I think I was like one of the only ladies on the set too.
This is true.
We're just gonna go ahead and add. I have about 8 ounces of feta. I'm gonna add it to my Spanikopita, my Spanaki mix. So I felt like, I don't know how to say it, but I was so fragile because I'm like nursing on set like a psycho and like so emotional. And my sister was getting married in Greece, and I was like flying in between Greece and America to get back on set, and I got stuck in London, and my child had 104 fever. It was really like a comedy. I was like, and it ended up being like one of my favorite experiences. I'm never gonna forget it. It was just such a great group, and I just can't wait for the movie to get out into the world.
Well, we're working on it right now, and we have some very promising leads to get it out into the world. Obviously, we're gonna work on that and hopefully get it out to you soon. So they would like to know if you have any preference of feta brands.
Well, all the best feta comes from Ipiros. That's all I have to say about that. You have to use feta from Ipiros. If you can have, I love goat milk's feta. You could just digest a little better. We've gotten a little bit more used to it in my family. But feta's really personal. Do you like Bulgarian feta? Do you like French feta, which is less salty? For me, no. French feta does not work in pitas. That's a super duper preference, like for you and your fam. But I like a salty kind of firm cheese when I'm making this. I think it makes all the difference. It helps bind it, and I like to bite into a chunky piece of feta, not like a super soft piece that tastes like cream cheese. That's not for me.
Got it. Cool.
All right.
So how are we doing? We have about 12 minutes left. How's that looking for you?
Good. I'm just gonna roll them for you now, and then we're gonna so I have one. This is the ball of dough we let rise.
Yep.
I have one already rolled out for you. That my sister did, because we are running out of time, but I'll just take you halfway through this one. So, because this is important.
I got you. No, that sounds great.
When you're rolling out your filo, you really have to use like bolika alevri, like we say in Greek, like a lot of olive oil. I mean, a lot of flour. You can't be scared of the flour, because that's what helps us, like, spread it out. I have my dough. It's been sitting for about a half hour. I have flour everywhere. And this is the part that everyone thinks is so hard. We're just going to roll it. And then when it sticks, you're going to like move it to the side. So you're going to keep kind of like working the different angles. And it doesn't have to be a perfect square or circle.
So apparently your cousin Demetra is asking to talk about a broomstick in this situation.
Oh, yeah. Those are amazing. So she's talking about broomstick. She's talking about, like, our grandmothers had these long wooden sticks. And I have one actually, Dimitra, not from Yaya Magdaleni. I have one from my Yaya Arfondula. And it looks like it looks like a raw, long, just wooden stick, just like this. And we're actually trying to make those for Fancy Peasant and get them to everybody, because they're really special.
The pasta makers from Italy also use the sfoglia, which is the long wooden stick that they make the pasta with.
Yeah, they're great. This marble one is not my favorite, but it's all we had during the quarantine.
When you're home, do you use wooden stick?
How thin and great this is becoming?
Yes.
That's how you want your filo to be, just like super. I don't know how much you can see here.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, you're gonna read the newspaper through it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. When you can see the marble, and a lot of these pieces, like when they break apart like that, I just kind of put it back together, and I'll squish it like this, and then roll over it.
You make it feel less frightening.
Yeah, well, this one I actually royally fucked up. I'm not even gonna lie. My son is screaming for me. He just woke up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that to the side right now. But that's what it looks like. It's very thin, and then you can work with it. And this goes right. If you're just making a sheet pan, you put that right over the sheet pan and stretch it out just like that.
Great. That looks terrific. But you have one already made, so.
I do.
Because this is a cooking show and we have our shit together.
This is the cooking show. Okay, I have one
Oh,
right
look at that.
here.
That looks terrific.
Yup.
Steph did a nice job rolling that out.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to break that up into 3 sections. Here you go. 1 second.
You're getting rave reviews on your phyllo.
Thank you. I'm feeling the pressure of the 12 minutes now, so I just want to do, these are about 3 inches. See, that's what you want for your Spanikopita.
Okay.
So we're making babies.
Gotcha.
Well, we're not making babies.
I hope we're not making babies on this thing right now. That would be probably prohibited.
Let me get my oil quickly. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and we can see you that you've cut your 3 inches, and now you're gonna baste with olive oil.
Yes.
And that looks great. Oh, look at that.
So you never want the brush to touch the phyllo.
Oh, that's a good tip. I never knew that.
Because I feel when I do that and it's paper thin like this, the phyllo, it doesn't like come out the right way.
Super.
So just have one more thing I'm going to cut here.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to take a tablespoon or a teaspoon. This is a teaspoon. I'm going to put it at the head.
Okay.
That's a little too much.
Okay.
You can tell, depending on how much you've cut, like what feels like too much. And I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to create the important thing to lock these in the right way is to make sure always lining it up straight here.
Okay.
So you want to think up and over, up and over.
Cool.
Up
wow,
and over.
That's really cool.
Up and over. Up and over. And then like it's a perfect
Look
triangle.
at that. Perfect. That's great. That's amazing. And then for argument's sake,
one more to show you.
Yeah, we're not going to know because obviously you're going to put those in the oven at some point. What oven temp and for how long?
It's in fancypeasant.com, but I think it's 375 for like 15 minutes because these are so small.
Okay. And you just put them on a sheet pan dry without any oil, or on parchment, or?
Thanks for asking. Yep. So I'm gonna put these on parchment paper, and then I'm also, because I'm not doing an egg wash or anything on top.
Right.
I have a little cookie sheet over here. I'm gonna put these here. If you want, you can put some olive oil. If you don't want to use egg, you just use a little bit of olive oil on top. Because again, these are eggless. That one kind of came out like, I like that side of it better. Just use whatever side you like better. It doesn't matter. This phyllo is so trapano. It's so soft. It's not gonna. You're not gonna care really what it looks like because it's gonna taste so good.
And it's only gonna last about 30 seconds out of the oven.
Yeah, my kids like go loco for these. They're insane. So yeah, all you're gonna do is pop that in at 375 for about 15 minutes. Do you want me to show you how to do a few more?
Yeah, why don't you roll a few more? You got a couple of minutes, and I'll tell you when we only have a minute or two so you can say goodbye.
Want to put these in for me, Stephanie, so I can see how they come out like in 10 minutes, those two, so I can show them what it looks like crisped up. Thank you so much. My sister Stephanie. Stephanie, say hi.
Hello.
It's my
Hi,
sister.
Steph. How are you?
Not planning on being on this time. Hey, Andrew, how are you?
She just had a baby. She's incredible. She's a breastfeeding machine.
TMI.
No, I'll tell you, man.
No such thing.
This Mother's Day takes on a whole other thing now, right? I'm like, see, Stephanie, see why Almi's like, did you get my Mother's Day present, mother? Like, no, just kidding. Kind of serious.
So here's what we're gonna do. I want you to take a picture of when they come out of the oven, because I think we'll probably be off by then, and then post it on your site,
Okay.
and then tag me so I could put it on my story.
Working really fast here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and that way we can show everyone later what exactly they look like.
Okay,
People-
but this is that homemade filo, and like, it's not that scary. So we have the tiganita filo, which I'll put the recipe up for also, and those are amazing. And then this is that homemade filo, which you can make like a regular pie with, or these little babies. I'm making the babies because I made a turkey pita last night, and I didn't need another pita tonight.
So that when you make a regular spanakopita, you're basically doing the layers on a pan and then cutting it afterwards, right?
3 of these on the bottom and 2 of these on the top.
Okay.
That's it.
And then, and then all the filling in the middle, and then you just you chop it up at the end.
I actually score it right after.
Oh, okay.
No, I score mine before I bake it. So I score it
that's cool.
if you score it, like it circulates, it keeps the heat circulating throughout the pita. So those little score marks are actually really important.
Do you have a convection setting on your oven?
I do.
Do you use it for this?
No, I bake. No, I don't. Maybe I should try, but I don't. I'm not going to.
Well, it might get crispier, like that. When you watch the British baking show, they always put a 375 fan. They put the convection fan on, and it actually crisps things up even better.
Andrew, I'm sorry. I was too taken by my friend's comments.
No,
This
it's
made
funny.
me feel like I can really do this. That's what I want to do. I want to inspire people to be able to cook at home. So that's so nice. I'm so happy.
You made it feel accessible, which is exactly. This is something that could be a little freaky, man. It can scare people.
There's nothing more intimidating than making your own filo dough.
I agree.
That's the truth.
All right, so we're on the clock.
Maybe I should check. Okay, we're on the clock.
We're on the clock. We have a minute 45.
This is the inside of the taganite. We've made a little bit of we've made a little bit of that Greek honey yogurt I've told you about, and you just put that on top and
So
you eat it.
Chef John says he's very sad that there's no feta in the house right now.
I know, it stinks. Like, I have feta cravings, and a lot of the markets have been out of it. And when there's not feta, I'm in like a bad mood for 3 days.
So Chef John doesn't use the convection setting either for some reason, but
Chef John, looks like we have a lot in common.
I think that's true. It's very true.
Except the Chef John chair.
Yes, his show is Food Wishes, and it's on YouTube. Okay. And he puts up 2 new videos a week. Mm-hmm. And he has a whole bunch of people that check in with him, and he's hopefully going to join us soon over here soon too. I already have that one planned out, but it's going to be the opposite. I'm going to cook and he's going to narrate, so that's going to be fun.